Hi, Daniel. What do you think enabled you to have such a good season last year, and how can you build on that in Detroit?
Yeah, for sure. I think if you look at our team last year in Seattle, we had four lines that can play. We had a speed team, and I think the way I played last year with on the power play and scoring 5-on-5, I think that's something that I excelled at last year, and defensive side as well. So I'm excited to bring that to Detroit.
What kind of conversation did you have, or what did you hear from the Wings as far as why they were interested in you?
Yeah, it's just I think it'd be a good fit for both sides. Something Detroit was lacking last year was incoming team. They have some really good players, some established guys on that team, and I thought it'd be a good fit for myself to be there and help with the scoring, and of course could grow with the guys there and be part of this organization.
Thank you.
Ansar Khan.
Yeah, hi, Daniel. You mentioned power play in Seattle. Just what was your role on the power play position on the ice, and just talk in general. They've been trying to improve their power play here for quite some time, and just the importance of what a good power play can do for a team.
Yeah, for sure. I think in Seattle we had two good units. Didn't matter which unit started, but for me on the power play, usually play the left flank on that one-timer side, and I can get off that one-timer pretty well and control on that side as well. So hoping I can bring an impact to the power play as well.
And do you have any connections to the Wings? Any former teammates at any level, or do you know anybody that well in the organization?
Yeah, I played with Perron and Oli in Pittsburgh, and then Fabry and Wallman growing up. Know those two really well, and then Joe Valeno, we're from the same area back home here in Montreal, so I know him pretty well as well.
So you know quite a few guys going into the room. Just how important is that, just to kind of get comfortable and assimilate yourself in the room coming in for a new guy?
Yeah, for sure. I'm really close friends with Mantha, so he played there for a long time. So he told me really good things. City, yeah, knowing Valeno, and the other four guys that I knew before, it's a lot easier. Of course, you feel a bit more comfortable. You know, 4 or 5 guys on the team, and you heard really good things about the organization and City from guys. So I'm excited to be there.
Thanks, Daniel.
Max Boltman.
Hey, Daniel, you talked about kind of the 4-line and 2-unit setup you guys had in Seattle. I think a lot of teams strive for something like that. What do you think allowed you guys to kind of execute it and pull it off to the degree you did?
Yeah, I think just the way our team was the whole year, we stuck together. It didn't matter who scored. It was one of those teams where we all believed in each other, and we were a really tight group. But I think the biggest thing is every game you didn't know who was going to produce for our team. Was all 4 lines, and we just had really good depth, and we played with a lot of speed, that's for sure.
When you look at kind of I know the roster can still change, but what on right now looks like the roster, do you see the potential for something like that with the Red Wings?
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. Detroit was only 12 points out of a playoff spot last year. You're talking about maybe a 6-7 game swing there and there during the year. You know, you don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low, but you're not far out of it. So it's gonna be a hunt for playoffs, and I think that's everyone's goal in the organization this year.
Thanks, Daniel. Welcome to Detroit.
Jonathan Mills.
Hey, Daniel, you kind of talked about it there a little bit. Can you just touch on how important for you that kind of playoff run with Seattle was last year, just experiencing that and kind of, knowing what it takes to get play and far in the spring and summer?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's Seattle's first playoff there, so fans were into it. The stadium was loud, and it was just a really cool experience to be part of. It was a bit different than the first time I played in playoffs with Washington, when it was still like the COVID era, so you couldn't really see the fans, how much they affect. But in Seattle, it was a good run, and we learned a lot there as a group as well.
Thank you. Welcome to Detroit.
Bob Duff.
Obviously, Daniel, being born in the Netherlands, your route to the NHL is a little different than most guys. Can you kind of talk about your journey to this point, and how hockey became your game?
Yeah, my dad grew up playing, so I followed in his footsteps, and then moved to Montreal at the age of 7. Lived here pretty much my whole life. It's where I spend my summers with everyone, and played in the Quebec League, and then Pittsburgh, and then now I'm in Detroit. So I'm happy to be here. So it's been a long story.
Is it, you still have a fondness for the Netherlands? You still like, follow their soccer teams and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Soccer, Formula One, Verstappen. So I still have the Dutch roots in me. That's for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Sean Shapiro.
Hey, Danny, what was the last 48 hours or so like for you? Because I'm not sure when you knew that you were going to be a free agent, and like what was can you kind of take us through that with what it was like from an RFA to not getting the qualifying offer to kind of having the freedom to look around? What's it been like?
Well, I knew I wasn't going to get qualified pretty much after the year when I spoke to the organization there. I think we all know the reason why with arbitration rights. I think I was looking pretty good in that area, and just couldn't agree to something. And knowing you're going to UFA, I thought I was going somewhere else at 10:30 in the morning, and then next thing you know, you get a call an hour later, you're going somewhere else. So it's pretty hectic. It was fun to be on that side, and I'm happy I picked Detroit, and happy to be here.
So you had been able to like mentally prep for the UFA process. It wasn't like a surprise or anything like that.
No, I knew it was coming. It was something that I knew quite a while ago, so it wasn't nothing new to me. When it got released on Friday, I think just the more exciting part was waiting for a phone call, knowing this team's interested, or you might be going here. And then when you got to make the decision at the end, I think it was kind of happy that it was all said and done.
Did you watch the F1 race this morning then? Follow up?
No, not the Austria Grand Prix. It's just he's too far ahead of everyone, so it's kind of taking the fun out of it every weekend.
Thanks, man.
Last question, Kevin Allen.
Hi, Daniel. I wondered if you could kind of talk a little bit about your own season. Obviously you had a breakthrough year, at least the best offensive season of your career. Was it just increased opportunity, or did you adjust your game at all, or explain just the excellent season that you had last season?
I think I adjusted some parts of my game. I think I became a bit better defensively, played a bit with more physicality, and maybe better in around game. So the big thing, of course, getting power play time, opportunity to perform on the power play where I can use my strengths and use my shot. I'm a shooter, so that's something I think I can really help a power play with. And we had a good team as well in Seattle. Honestly, you could play any guy with anyone on that team. We clicked very easy. But I think just the opportunity to play power play, getting the minutes that weren't high, but making most out of it. I'm looking for a bigger role, of course, and show at Detroit I can do that this year.
And I know hockey players well enough to know that the emphasis is always on winning. So when you're looking through what your possibilities were as a free agent, I mean, how much do you got to factor in? I mean, you're coming off of a team that was kind of a surprise playoff team, but you really kind of got into it to a team that hasn't made the playoffs in a long time. Is there a change in a mental approach, or how do you view that, or is it a challenge to try to help them? How do you view it?
Well, I think in that locker room in Seattle this year, we all believe we can make playoffs. We knew we were a good enough team. Maybe not to the media or the outside world that we were underdogs. But if you saw us play, I think we beat Boston first game that they lost all year at home. So we a year that we were a good team, and we believe in that locker room. And I think the biggest thing with this group in Detroit, you got to believe in the locker room first, and then cancel the outside noise. And I think if you look at the team on paper, with the guys that came in and the players they have there, where we can be a playoff team, that's for sure.
Thank you, Daniel. Welcome to Detroit.
All right, those are all the questions we had. Daniel, thanks so much for the time today. At this point, we'll move everyone back in.